I think we got to talk about the NBA Cup. I think we got to talk about specifically the games in the semifinal round, but really the Spurs Thunder game.
Yeah, when I looked back at the stats from the Spurs Thunder game, and then the Spurs beat the Thunder, really close game. Wemby doing Wemby stuff. The toss from the out of bounds toss
My
play.
goodness.
That just, how do you stop it? Maybe we got to get Rocco Zakarski lined up in the 7-3 spot to try to stop the Wemby dunk just in that moment alone. Just sub him in just for the out of bounds plays and hope that Wemby doesn't head out to the perimeter and have Rocco try to guard him out at the 3-point line. But they played a really solid game. So when I looked up and down the stat line, the Spurs didn't rely on one player in particular. They had 4 or 5 players in that 20-point spot. I can get that stats here in a minute pulled up when you talk about what you're thinking too. But a really solid all-around game from all of them. Castle was fun to watch. So just spinning magician plays were really cool, really high energy to see Castle playing like that. But yeah, just really, really cool. The fact that they're giving Castle that run, though, is also something that I think we could learn from, because Castle, when I looked up his stats too, because he's really fun to watch, he's in the 2nd percentile for turnovers. That's really bad. So he is turning, but he's only a second-year player and he's young, so they're rolling with it and he's also not a good 3-point shooter at all, but he's 70th percentile in assists and has athleticism and is promising and gets people involved. So I think that there's growth there that is happening in front of our eyes because he's a young player that's getting run, and that's something that we have not historically been good at. So that's my takeaway from that one.
Yeah, Castle's great. Castle's also a lot bigger than Rob. He's guarding defense.
But he's 6'6". Yeah, Rob's not 6'6". Yeah,
not 6'6". My thing, I watched most of the game. The stuff on Twitter afterwards was absolutely phenomenal. But Wemby was plus 21 in 21 minutes. So in the 21 minutes that Wemby was on the court, the Spurs were 21 points better than Oklahoma City. That means on the 27 minutes that he was not on the court, they were 19 points worse than the Thunder. So he only played 21 minutes. This is his first game back from his last injury. He was awesome. I also got to say that his post-game comments were probably just as beautiful as his play. He talked about how, I'm just glad to be part of something that's growing to be so beautiful. Pure and ethical basketball that is clearly a shot across the bow at SGA. And then he talked about beating the Thunder. Some people are built for this moment and some aren't. We're built for it. If you saw when Chet was shooting free throws, when he missed, Wemby was just going crazy. He loved it. It was like crazier than like a high school fan section. I don't know if he hates Chet or he just really wanted to win or what it was, but he was so into it. I hate that these teams are in the West and they have young superstars. Man, I wish we could be in the Eastern Conference, but if I had to pick between OKC and San Antonio, Wemby is a cheat code. I mean, he's an alien, but I would way rather watch the Spurs play than the Thunder, so I'm happy they won.
Other takeaways to loop this back to the Timberwolves, and maybe some takeaways the Timberwolves could take from this one big thing segment that stood out to me, is I know you had Wemby playing less minutes because he's coming back from injury, but when you look at the minutes played, ours tends to have Rob Dillingham at 3 minutes and Clark at 8, and we are pretty top heavy and we're not playing a lot of players. The Spurs, 32 minutes, 27 minutes, 24 minutes, 33 minutes, 36 minutes, 24 minutes, 26 minutes, almost 14 minutes, and 20 minutes. Those are solid runs for players. And I just to loop it back to the T-Wolves again, it feels like if we want to be beating an OKC, Ant can score a bunch of points, but we need everybody else obviously to make shots, but we need the depth. We need our younger players and our bench players to score. Our bench scoring is 29th in the league or something. Now that DDV's in the starting lineup, I think that that's part of it. Last year was better because DDV was coming off the bench and scoring points.
Mm-hmm.
Mike's not scoring at a high clip, but we do need more from them. And I don't know what the answer is there.
Yeah, that's a great point. I knew you and I were talking before. It feels like we really have 2 good guards. It's DDV, it's Ant. It's kind of hard to get production from some other folks. Also, just noting for the NBA Cup, the Knicks beat the Magic. So on Tuesday, the Knicks, shout out to Towns, will be playing against Wemby and the Spurs. That's December 16th. So that should be a cool game. Hope people can check that out.
Yeah, happy for Cat. He seems happy. I hope he doesn't end up in Milwaukee.
Also, I feel like since he's gotten a bigger market, he had a move last night that the drive to the basket, he kind of shoves off with the off arm, and it was a defensive foul and one. That was always an offensive foul call when he played for the Wolves. Like, going to the big market, I don't know. It's hard for me not to think that plays a part in that kind of the shift in how he's being officiated.
Yeah, he seemed to get called for that all the time. It was one of the most frustrating parts about Karl Anthony Towns.
Stray voltage.
Yeah.